Good morning, class.
Good morning.
Yeah, how are you?
We are fine.
So, welcome to our class today. My name is Mr. Chen, and in our previous class, we had a topic on elementaries of physics, and in our today's class, we're going to talk about force. So, these are today's topic on force. And by the end of this lesson, you should be able to define what force is, and you should be able to state the different types of forces, and eventually also state the effect of forces. So, in our today's topic, I'm sure in your life growing up, you must have interacted with force in one way or another, or you have seen some effect of force in one way or another. Like, I'll give you one example of the force. Like, for example, when I opened the door coming in, that was a good example of force going in. So I would like to give you an opportunity to at least state one or two areas that you experience force in your life or in your studies. Yes.
When you throw an object up, it comes down. So I think that coming down is a result of some force.
Very good, Mohammed. That's a very good example of force. Yes.
When applying brakes on pedals for bicycle,
Yes.
it is a force that makes the bicycle to stop.
Very good example. So, like I stated before, by the end of this lesson, you should be able to define what force is, then state the types of force, and the effect of force. So, the examples that you've given are very good example. Like when you throw an object up and it comes down, that's a very good example of force. That something is pulling the object down. When a vehicle is moving and then something stops it, that's also a very good example of force. Once that there's one force that is opposing the movement of the vehicle. So, force, to define it, is anything that causes a push or a pull on an object that is at rest or that changes its direction of motion. That is what force is. So, force is anything that causes, for example, first a push. For example, like Mohammed, you can have your object here, try to push it. So that is a good example of force. So one, it can cause a push, it can cause a pull. Like for example, a robber try to pull this object back using the rope. So that is the some force that is acting on the object. So it can cause a push or a pull. That is one thing you have to note. So once it has caused a push or a pull, it can, this push or a pull can cause two or three causes. One, it can move an object from rest. Like for example, this object was at rest. It is at speed of 0, it is relaxed. Then a rover tried to pull it. Then it is causing that object to move from rest to moving. It can change an object that is in motion. A good example is if I hold this mouse and it is in motion, and then I'll ask Mohammed to push it away while it is in motion. See, it has changed its direction. So that can also be a force. So it can, so just to repeat it, it can be a push or a pull that can cause an object at rest to change direction, or an object in motion to change direction. So we write the full definition. A force is a push or a pull that can cause an object in rest or motion to change its direction. So the key terms here that you note are push, pull, rest, motion, and the last term that I've mentioned is direction.
We are still we want to look at types of forces. We want to look at types of forces. So how many types of forces do we think we have? Quickly, I want everybody to write down any force that you know. In pairs, you can just discuss. Let's write for me the types of forces that you know. Types of forces that you know.
Action. Reaction forces. Gravitational.
Quickly, can we name them? Name the type. Just give me randomly what are the types of forces that you think you know. Yes.
Action and reaction.
Action and reaction. Action and reaction. Yes.
Gravitational forces.
Gravitational forces. Gravitational forces. All right. Yes.
Centrifugal forces.
Centrifugal forces. Centrifugal forces.
Centripetal.
Centripetal forces. Centripetal forces. Now, these are the different types of forces that you guys have come up with. Now, I want us in this column, we want to classify these forces. We want to classify into contact force, contact forces, and non-contact forces. So I would want to invite Oroba. You come and out of this group, you just mention the ones that are contact and the ones that are non-contact.
Contact forces, action and reaction. Non-contact gravitational. Forces.
Thank you, Oroba. Now we have decided that out of these very many forces, Oroba came and classified them into two. We have contact forces and then we have non-contact forces. Contact forces means for the force to be able to lay out, there must be some contact. The two bodies must touch. For example, action and reaction. If you want this marker pen to rest on the table, the marker pen and the table must have contact. That's what I mean. When you talk of non-contact forces, basically what do you think?
The object and the force that do not necessarily physically come into contact.
Yeah, they don't necessarily come into contact because we are having, for example, the gravitational force, the force between you and the earth. So that anything you throw, the force, thank you, anything you throw up, it will come down automatically. And that is through the contact, the non-contact force. So gravitational, and then of course we have centrifugal, and then centripetal. All those are non-contact forces.
Okay, so far so good. On forces, we are somewhere. With me, I'm going to deal with the objective number 3, effect of forces. Who can tell us one of the effects of the forces where they apply? Yes.
It can cause damages.
It can cause effects. Of forces. One can cause damage.
Now, a force can be used to stop a moving object. So that once an object is moving,
Can
the
stop.
by force it stops.
Stop an object. Good. Okay, I'm going to step down some of the effects of the forces. One, the force can start a motion. An object that is static can start moving by being pushed or pulled. So one of the effects is to start a motion. The second one, to stop a motion. To stop a motion. For example, applying brakes can stop a bicycle through applying a force on the bicycle pedals. So the second one comes in to stop an object. The third effect of a motion is it can cause rotation. For example, pushing a door. If you want to close a door or open a door, for example, if you want to open a door, for example, I'm opening a door. It is a force that makes the door to move along or move on its hinges when you want to open it or you want to close it. The third one, the fourth effect of force, it can change direction of motion. For example, Mohammed, I want you to push this object while it is on motion. Push it, you see? It can change direction. It can change direction of a moving object. Change direction. Number 4. Change direction of motion. The sixth effect of motion of force, it can change the shape or size of an object. It can change the size or the shape of an object. For example, when you stretch a rubber or compress a rubber, the rubber can change its shape or you can cut easily the rubber. Those are the effects of a force.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Now, you have highlighted 6 effects of forces.
Yes.
Now, do we have scenarios whereby all this can happen at the same time? Can we have force that can cause damage and stop the motion of an object?
Yes, we can have forces that can cause damage where it has already stopped the object. For example, the rotating wheels of a vehicle may be due to friction of the road and the tire. Maybe you get a tire burst. In case you get a tire burst, that vehicle might roll or might stop and the tire will be damaged. That's one of where the forces can act more than one force can act on an object.
Thank you.
Yeah. In conclusion, from today's lesson, who can recall or what's a force, or who can tell us, who can define for us what's a force?
Sir, excuse me. So, force, I've stated that a force is a push or a pull, and that anytime you don't necessarily have to pull, just both the pulling and the pushing that defines force. I've also learned the types of forces that we have, many types of forces.
Correct.
The contact and the non-contact.
Correct. Michelle?
We've also managed to identify the effects of forces. Among them, the force can cause damage, can cause an object to change direction of motion. And for one force can also have more than two effects at the same time.
Correct. I think the lesson is well understood. Now, I would like to leave you with one assignment. I would like to leave you with one assignment to be collected on our next lesson. State 4 advantages of friction in the real life situation. State 4 advantages of friction force on our real life situations.